Yeah, we'll see what these two players get up to. Just loaded in now. Let's see if the map looks good.
Oh yeah, I'll leave you to do that. Haven't necessarily been on top of the coin mines at the start, but I do see, apart from the in-base coin mine, 4 coin mines on either sides of the TP traveler. So I would say, the coin mines are equal. We've got a few hunts both sides. Both players have got
Yeah,
two
it's
nearby
all
hunts
good.
as well. And apart from that, you've got to just play the match as it goes.
Yeah, no, it looks pretty good. So we got in the top Kaiserklein, who I think it's fair to say probably the favorite in the series. So he's spawning at the top in the blue, and towards the bottom we got KINGofOsmane, a little bit of an underdog, but a very very solid player actually. I think he's a little bit underrated by some of the current top players. Well, actually, I also think it's that King doesn't necessarily perform in tournaments. I think I play with him a bit more than most other people do. And, if you get him when he's just playing like a casual 1v1 unrated, he's actually puts out some really solid games from time to time. But I don't think they've really translated into tournament performance in the recent years. But I think the potential is there more than some people might know.
Yeah, I believe this is a food start because each player's only got 300 wood to spend and no coin crates on the ground to start off with. But have you seen how both players have gone for a little bit of a gentleman's agreement and gone for opposite trading posts, which you can't necessarily predict what your opponent's going to do. And Kaiserklein has gone for the trading post, which will give him the experience pass that much quicker before KINGofOsmane, but KINGofOsmane maybe played safe and thinking Kaiser knows where the TP is, so I'm going to get the second best and avoid having to lose it. And actually looking at how the TP line kind of snakes around in a small kind of S formation, the TP for Kaiser is actually closer to him from his side than it was to KINGofOsmane. So actually would probably a very good play for KINGofOsmane to get the TP he's just got now.
Yeah, he's actually weird. I was just waiting for the traveler to come on. I thought as soon as it had finished its pass on the left, it would immediately start. But it's taken. There's a good 20 seconds where the traveler's just hidden, which I never really kind of observed before. But yeah, so it means that Kaiser's first shipment is going to come in way ahead, and that's probably going to translate into maybe some 60 food. Just kind of a quick mass guess, but it's certainly a nice little advantage for Kaiser starting off.
Yeah, you make a very good point about how long the TP's off the map. I noticed that as well when I was doing this kind of investigation. It does differ for different maps. For example, Arkansas, the travel is only off the map very briefly because it's set so that each pass is 50 resources. The fact that the travel is off the map for a little bit longer gives more and more XP for each pass, just because the total duration of the pass from A to B, shall we say, is longer. So I believe this is intentional, or if it's not intentional, maybe could be looked at. But I want to say it was intentional because how long that TP travel is off the map does increase the benefit, and so will put a greater emphasis on middle map TP control as we move into the second age. Both players going up with the Quartermaster as to be expected, and we do see KINGofOsmane currently picking up a stray cow, so using the religion of the Azamp Church and hopefully bring in great, not benefit, but also just great wisdom and courage to take on Kaiserklein in this matchup. And we see this again. Kaiserklein and KINGofOsmane are both going for a TP in transition, but also putting their TPs down adjacent to the original TP socket they have. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a barracks in a stable or a barracks artillery foundry dropped nearby their own train post to defend it, and we're going to see a lot of action probably through its middle choke point.
Yeah, actually looks like Kaiserklein's going to set up his forward base on the right-hand side, so he wants to set it up near KINGofOsmane's TPs, so no walking time, he can just start sieging them immediately. I'd be surprised if we saw a stable. I reckon Kaiser, I'm expecting just some sort of a Jan Abus play. I'm more interested to see what King's doing, just looking at his resource distribution. He's... I'm just wondering if King is actually gearing up for maybe a semi-fast fortress or fast fortress. Whereas, yeah, Kaiser's gonna try and take the TP line and then maybe follow him up afterwards. But yeah, King's got no villagers forward, so it is looking more like a fast fortress play. Kaiserklein's scouting around his base as well to see what he can find, and he is actually going to come across that barracks from King, but it's a very defensive barracks.
He's also dropping down a market as well, and you've only got 14 villages being produced already. So maybe KINGofOsmane is valuing the economic upgrades the market provides, but maybe also the ability to trade resources if he needs an emergency change of coin to food. He does ship the in-base 700 coin, and compared to Kaiserklein's forward barracks and shipping 700 wood to start off with, we do see a change of build orders between the two. And also Kaiser's getting the techs from the mosque upgrade, and I can't see, hey, the mosque is on the top right of the map over here.
Oh, that's actually quite greedy. Yeah, so I'm expecting Kaiser to add in the artillery foundry there. He's just dropped it down now. So yeah, looking at the resources, King is just doing a straight FF, honestly. So I think his plan is he's going to accept that he's going to lose maybe one, maybe both trading posts, but then he's going to try and ship the 2 falconets pretty fast, and then I presumably Kaiser's going to get stagecoach at some point, and then King's going to try and blast his stagecoach down with the falconets. And yeah, Kaiser might struggle a bit against the early falconets, but the Abus guns, if you do get maybe 10, 15 of them, can snipe down the falconets with good micro if you get them in stagger mode.
Yeah, that's a good observation there. Obviously the Abus guns doing siege damage at a range, and the falconets, although these guys are artillery units, they have a range resist, so don't actually they do well attacking Abus guns, but also have a very weak to being attacked by Abus guns themselves. Kaiserklein has just researched himself the stagecoach upgrade here, and KINGofOsmane will get the first couple of passes due to the fact that the TP Travel spawns on the right hand side, but Kaiserklein taking down KINGofOsmane second to deny that potential XP or resources available for KINGofOsmane, and looking to fund wood production off the 2 other trading posts to the left hand side of the map to further control the TP line for himself.
Ooh, interesting. Kaiser's not spending his resources, actually, so it looks like he is going to follow him up, which I wondered if he was just going to stay age 2, but presumably Kaiser's maybe shipping 700 food. Yep, so it's just coming now, and that would make sense with his distribution. So he's going to follow up, and he's probably not going to be too far behind if he fast ages, because it looks like King's using the slow age. And he'll be able to ship his own 2 falconets as well. So actually, KINGofOsmane's window to get damage done is going to be very small. But I mean, it's still going to be there though. So he's going to need to get as much damage done as he can.
Well, he is advancing with this scout politician that will grant him 4 hussars on age up, and I suppose that if your TC is already generating villagers as the age up goes, that you don't necessarily need to go up with the fast age, but with this slow tempo advantage, Kaiserklein is advancing much quicker with the exiled prince, so they're going to be up not necessarily at the same time, but both similar time age up, both with 1 shipment in queue, and the fact that Kaiser has invested 1 extra colonial age shipment to get a few units on the board and wrestle control of the TP line, I think Kaiser's in a good position at the moment.
Yeah, he's got to be feeling pretty happy. 4 TPs and he's aged up, what, like 10 seconds slower? And he's getting some good volleys off on this Explorer as well. It's a lot of hit points gone down that could have been useful in a fight later on. So another advantage King does have, though, he's got these 4 Hussar out, and sometimes it can be a bit annoying as Ottoman to defend against raids, as you don't really have your own cavalry. You've just got a big mass of Jans.
Do you see how KINGofOsmane pathed between the 2 TPs and not get scouted by the line of sight? So this would be a surprise for Kaiser with the Hussars walking into his base. However, because Ottoman has so few settlers, they should all be near the TC, but we do have 2 exposed villagers on the top right hunting, and as soon as the Hussars path the town centre, there is no safe way for these 2 settlers to go back unless they're walking around to the left hand of the trees. Hussars path into the right, getting stuck in between the 2, and these settlers manage to get back into the town centre without going down at this point. That's some good control there from Kaiserklein.
Yeah, and it's probably would prevent Kaiser from shipping the 2 Falcons first, which I think King's probably missed the trick, right? Because with these 4 Hussars, I think he actually prevents the 2 Falcons first from Kaiser, because it's just too risky for him to send unless all his Jans are in his base. So if King had shipped his 2 Falcons first, he could have started work on this trading post line while Kaiser had to wait for his next shipment. But he hasn't done. He shipped 8 Jans and he's just chilling in his base.
Yeah,
so
both players have shipped 8 Jans, and both players are getting the veterancy upgrade. So a divergence of strategy in the second age has kind of led to some sort of convergence in the third age, and these 4 Hussars are trying to get some work done. Kaiserklein hasn't got a market down or any market text, but KINGofOsmane with his early market he drops has only got the hunting dogs as a result. So again, 100 wood for the building and then the 50 wood coin for the upgrade, but with not many villagers gathering the food, it's an interesting strategy choice from KINGofOsmane here, and Kaiserklein's got the map control. He's near enough the same military population, but the 2 Falcons come in, the Hussars are nearby, there's no
they didn't see them!
Oh my...
No. I don't believe that. That was such a risky shipment, and he didn't. Yeah.
I also don't believe, like, Kaiserklein's marching 5 Janissaries back now, but they're late. They wouldn't have saved the Falconet in time.
Kaiser's in trouble a little bit, actually, because King's been saving up for the Spahi shipment, which is going to come in presumably pretty soon. Kaiser takes down the racks, but I'm expecting some Spahis to come up, and Kaiser's going to get cleaned up. And where are these Falcons?
Like, he also lost 4 Janissaries due to the Janissaries and TC poking while he's taking down the barracks. We've got Spahis coming out to snare, Minutemen popping as well. All these heavy infantry of the KINGofOsmane get on top of the Janissaries as well. And these Janissaries are committing to the cause and sacrificing themselves for their own civilization and protecting the 2 Aegis guns macking out as well as the Falconets. These Falconets are on their own, but with these Spahis out on the field, I think Kaiserklein's thinking, how am I going to tackle this new composition of Janissaries and Spahis?
Yeah, none of the Spahis went down as well. They can heal themselves up, but I guess King can't really just idle them. He needs to use this momentum. So we'll see if he goes for the base or maybe just takes down the stagecoach. I'm not sure what one would be better, actually. I mean, he could possibly push the base as Kaiser doesn't have much army, but also taking down the stagecoach is a good option as well. So yeah, I'd hard to choose between the 2 options, but he's gone for taking down the TPs.
I would suggest that, okay, this one TP as he's walking past makes sense to take down, but you'd only take down the rest of the TPs if you're going to control him yourself. He's got no wooden bank, so he's unable to actually pick the trading post up for himself. And yes, he's even led an advanced party of Spahis to try and pick off any rogue villagers or unprotected units, but I think KINGofOsmane knows he's got the military advantage, and with Kaiserklein's 3 other trading posts working for him, if he gives Kaiser time, he'll just remass and be back to square one, but he's using this time to kind of try and push his military advantage. You can see Kaiserklein retreating to the far north of the map in the fog of war.
Pull your mills in.
Get in. One villager going down there, and the splash damage doesn't actually do enough to pick off all the villagers. They kind of spread it out across the whole bunch of them.
Are you able to check if Kaiser has Manchu in deck? Because he's sent a 1k shipment. I don't want to click on it.
Yes, he's got Manchu and 4 Mans in deck.
Okay, it'll be the Manchu then, because he's sent Mercs, and so yeah.
But look at these Spahis have found the Falconets, and the Falconets are running away, but there's not enough Janissaries really to defend the 5 Hussar shipment and the 5 Spahis of the Ottoman player, and KINGofOsmane
the Manchus, they're going to come in pretty soon.
Oh, there they are! Get onto the Falconets, Janissaries, hand them down. This is the opportunity. He's starting to focus fire them, and yes, one Falconet's going down, but the Manchu are doing some decent damage from the sides, and look at his Spahis being cornered by the Janissaries and taken down very, very quickly due to their hand attack bonus versus cavalry and melee.
Yeah, no, that went pretty well for Kaiser. He managed to delay the fight long enough for the Manchus.
That went so well for Kaiser, and so well that even KINGofOsmane has resigned, and that Manchu was really clutch at that point. He still had all 9 Manchu out on the field at the end, so the Janissaries were focusing on the Janissary mass and the Falconets of Kaiserklein, but the Manchu went unchecked.
Yeah, no, that was actually kind of close, because after Kaiser, I think Kaiser maybe thought the King was doing maybe a fast industrial. King actually, in the middle of the game, he only used 5 Jans to kill Kaiser's Explorer, you can see in King's base. And he kept the rest hidden, so I think he was trying to give the impression, I'm going age 4, and so that's why Kaiser actually pushed out, because normally there's no reason for Kaiser to cross the map when you've got 4 TBs, right? You just chill and protect the TBs. So I think King did a little bit of gamesmanship there, tried to make it look like he was going age 4, so Kaiser pushed in, King cleaned him up, but then, yeah, the big eco was enough to get the Manchus out at the end, so Kaiser took it in the end, but that was an interesting game actually. I like seeing the difference between the 2 build orders.
Yeah, I've just tabbed out just there just to turn you up a little bit, but apart from that, we're all good from our end. And yeah, Kaiser's kind of taking the first game in that point, and for a while it looked actually touch and go from Kaiser's side. He did go for the slightly more the slower strategy in Age 2 to get up to the Fortress Age, but actually those 4 Hussars were kind of useful for KINGofOsmane, if not directly when those 4 Hussars when he aged up, but kind of having that extra military advantage early on in Age 3, and once Kaiser over-committed into KINGofOsmane's base to just take down the barracks, he was pinned by both the Janissaries on the left-hand side, the town centre fire, and then Minutemen and Spahis cleaned up Kaiserklein in his own base, and then just advanced across to the map, and essentially KINGofOsmane had to kind of... He wanted to commit because of Kaiser's superior economy, and then once he was behind the town centre, that Manchu pop really cleaned up and did wonders for Kaiserklein there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that two Falcon shipments felt a tiny bit risky with no protection, but he got them out. I guess he was probably going to cancel it if he saw the Huss on the wrong side. But onto game two, we got Florida coming up. So yeah, presumably this will be Kaiserklein to pick his civilization first, and King will be coming in with the first counter pick.
Mm.
Yeah, Kaiser saying, yeah, he shouldn't have ever pushed you. I had TP line. I don't know why I even committed in your base. As I said, I think there might have been something in the back of his mind that he was just a little bit worried about a fast industrial, or maybe not. But I mean, that's the only reason to make a push there.
Well, if was it KINGofOsmane going for the fast industrial strat possibly, with no TPs, there wouldn't be much experience coming in for KINGofOsmane. So the fast industrial may look scary at first, but apart from possibly revolts where you won't necessarily need much more shipments after that, maybe the industrial wouldn't have that follow-up experience needed to capitalize it, and Kaiserklein's 4 TP eco at that point would have also sufficed. So yes, I guess Kaiserklein identifying his early push into Osmanes was slightly ambitious.
Yeah, so Kaiserklein now putting out his one of his top 2 civilizations, and the annoying thing with France is there isn't really any kind of counter pick for it. France does pretty well versus anything you can throw at it. Not necessarily the best civilization in the game at the moment, though, on the current iteration. But yeah, so King's got a few options now. He's got Japan. Yeah, do we see him pull out his best civ here?
I think it's a decent opportunity because there's a lot of hunts to the top left of the map. It is in the swamp, however, there should be enough hunts where you can put shrines on the top left. As long as KINGofOsmane is happy enough to defend any early bow pike aggression from the French player Kaiserklein, I think the Japanese pick would be a solid pick, but also could use maybe Germans in this matchup as well, and other options. Kaiser's French pick is pretty safe, that not much really counters the French civilization, but it does well against many other options, with the native scout picking up the sheep, you got the trade posts in base, you got lots of resources, and yeah, KINGofOsmane's now retaliated with his Japan, so this is going to be KINGofOsmane's strongest civ, but also an opportunity for him to get his first win on the board as well and level the series off 1-all.
Yeah, I think the nice thing about taking Japan on like a semi-C map as well is you always have that option to ship the free boats in Age 1, and I know that like Kami's been less and less popular these days, and the other option being the 2 vills. But if you have the option to ship free boats, that's ever so slightly better than the 2 villages. Then you know, it certainly helps. So that could be another reason why he's gone for Japan on this map.
Yeah, looks like both players are ready. So we're going to hop into game number 2 here between this best of 7 series between Kaiserklein and Wicked. Not Wicked. You're here. You're casting with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's pause. We'll start that again, shall we? But to be fair, I would love to see you play again at a later point.
Yeah, sometime, but it's much more relaxing to watch these guys go at it.
Well, welcome back, guys. My name's Harrison. We're joining here to game number 2 between Kaiserklein and KINGofOsmane. Currently, the score is 1-0 to Kaiserklein, and he's opted to pick as the French civilization on Florida. He spawned in the top right side of the map in the colour blue, where KINGofOsmane is using his strongest civilization, his trusted Japanese, and will be spawning into the bottom left of the map, playing, well, as the Japanese in the colour green. He's chosen to drop down his initial cherry orchard as he would normally do, because there's no berries starting this map, but he has sent his other cherry orchards to the top side of the map to get further scouting information, and with these 2 other explorers of the Japanese civilization, you can get a lot of early scouting done. We've got the native scout from the French player moving straight to the centre of the map, and he's already picked up 2 of these sheep in the mid portion of the map, and having the scouting disadvantage of having only 2 scouts compared to the Japanese player's 3, he knows where these sheep spawn, and he's actually very close to picking up his 3rd sheep on the right hand side, as well as picking up sheep behind the town centre. Kaiserklein's already up to 4 at this point. This is a good opening from Kaiser in terms of sheep gathering. What do you think, Wicked?
Yeah, it's very nice to get as many sheep as you can. Not not necessarily to use them yourself, but just to deny Japan from being able to put those on the safe shrines. So yeah, Kaiser's definitely made a point of picking up those sheeps, and it looks like King's probably only going to have two or three by the end of it. But King's going for a 90 coin, which I think is going to be quite nice. Presumably he's going to buy some wood with this because he's got 165 coin in bank at the moment. So be interesting to see if he spends that to get an extra shrine down.
Well, nearby his units here, he hasn't got any easy treasures you can pick up. He does have an 80 food guide by 2 alligators to the right hand side, but quite a lot of these 80 wood treasure to the south side and 100 coin to the western side is guided by both a pirate and outlaw blowgunner, and the Japanese civilization will struggle to take down the pirate. They can stun both the outlaws at the same time, but the pirate has a lot of HP, 400, and so these type of treasures are easy enough for the European explorers to pick up with their crack shot, but Japan will struggle at this point, and he's already dropped down that early shrine right in the centre of the map, so he may be able to scout any forward pressure from the French player, but it also could be picked off very, very quickly in age 2.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised actually. King hasn't decided to buy 100 wood at the market. I don't know if he's maybe waiting for Heavenly Kami to reduce the population cost there. But otherwise, I mean, it's still not a bad age one for either player. I mean, Kaiser's getting another sheep here, so actually he's going to end up with
the 80 food treasure as well. So it's a 2-in-1, and it won't necessarily help his age up. But he's going up with a 13 village up. He's already got he's got 13 population in queue, and yeah, he's just clicked up. So he's going for an earlier advance. He may have actually, I don't think he's actually even eaten any sheep. He's still got 7 sheep in alive next to the market. So this is a very, very strong age up time for Kaiserklein, and looking at Kaiser's treasures, he did get 100 food early on, as well as 80 food, so an extra 180 food in terms of treasures has really helped the French player to get a decent time on his age up, as well as the market to save him dropping down the market early on. So Kaiserklein playing to the map here and getting a good age 1 here.
Yeah, and he's surely going to pick up at least 2 trading posts. Maybe he might even go for the third one now that the trading post rules have changed slightly in the new EP iteration. But KINGofOsmane, on the other hand, I was thinking maybe he'd ship the 3 boats, but he's going for classic KINGofOsmane style, which is play it really defensive, go for the large eco, make a lot of shrines. So he's someone who hasn't really followed the change in the Japanese meta in like the last year. It's more become, about shipping 300 wood, 2 vills, that kind of thing. But King, he seems to be sticking to his roots.
Well, it's also interesting because he has sent heavily Kami, but he could have sent the 3 fishing boats, and then those fishing boats could gather food and can swap 3 of the villagers gathering the berries onto wood to therefore inexplicitly increase his wood gather rate to then drop down more shrines. Slightly more expensive shrines, but it's a different way of going about it. But if he's going for this shrine boom with heavily Kami, or maybe not going all out for the shrine boom, yes, I would have agreed that actually buying 100 wood as well for the market, especially if he's needing the woods to drop down onto the drop-in base. But look at this, he's walling out some of these hunts from the 2 Shogun Shrine. Hopefully, just how the game works, hopefully he can still attract these turkeys through this little gap in the wall, or just all around. But if he zoned off his own starting hunt for this Shogun Shrine, then that's going to be slightly awkward for the Japanese player. And look at Kaiser's scout, he's right in the middle of the Japanese base, so he can see exactly what is going on here.
Can we tell if King's actually seen that double racks? Because I know his villager was building the wall, and it was very close, but
these walls have very minimal line of sight in the first stage, although none, but now he's got a little bit, but not enough to see any racks. And because this trading post, look at this trading route line, it goes straight near this TP, like really, really close to this town centre, so there's no easy way for KINGofOsmane to wall off. And look at his second cherry orchard placement. It's right on the trading post line, so it's absolutely impossible to actually protect this cherry orchard from walls. So yes, he's dropped a second layer of wall here, but with this trading route actually right cutting through his base, there's no way to protect any access to the base of KINGofOsmane. And look, Kaiserklein's just walking down this TP route and just strolling into KINGofOsmane's base and walking past all these walls. He's even put a gate on the top side to get 3 villagers out to try and maintain gathering when he's all belled up.
Ooh. He just gets it in for the moment. Yes. Takes down the explorer, which can be very annoying. Alright, so Kaiser's going to be pretty pissed that he actually only got 8 crossbows. So presumably if he got 10, he could actually be one-shotting these vills. but only getting 8. He almost does enough damage to kill it, but not quite. So he's gonna be a little bit annoyed with himself that the macro screwed that up. But he's got another big batch of bows coming in. Looks to be a batch of 9, and so King's gonna be idle for a very long time. And yeah.
What do you think of this? The Japanese player going for bestieros, not bestieros, the fishing boats instead of the bestieros. So KINGofOsmane is somewhat unfazed by this. He thinks he can handle this pressure, but I don't know, that may be a bit too greedy, especially when you can't wall off your base with this line. You got all these pikes about to walk into the base, but decides to go elsewhere, maybe start sieging some shrines on the map. And KINGofOsmane is starting to actually shrine beam out on the map. He's already up to 100 shrine population.
Yeah, so King's plan was to ship the Japanese equivalent of colonial militia, so now he basically one-shots these crossbows. I think Kaiser immediately saw it, almost the second it came in actually. He backed out with his crossbows, and then he changed the direction of his pikes. He knew they were going to get no damage done at King's base because they were initially rallied there. So he's seen that come in and decided, well, much more effective to put them to use sieging shrines in the middle of the map. So Kaiser's adapted a little bit now, but I don't think King's going to be super disappointed. He doesn't seem to have lost a villager yet. He's got some boats gathering. He's these villagers on the right though.
Yeah, dropping down emergency gates to get in, but he still loses 2 villagers there from gathering the coin. And to follow up this, Kaiserklein's research placer mine, so once that comes in, he's going to transition to maybe gathering coins, send in 700 coin, and I think Kaiser's maybe thinking of aging up behind this. If we look into units in queue, he's only got the 2 CDB. He stopped production of crossbows and pikemen in response to the colonial militia of KINGofOsmane. I think Kaiserklein's actually happy with all the damage he's done so far. If we look at units lost, KINGofOsmane's lost those 2 villagers on the coin mine, so he's also really hampered KINGofOsmane's economic potential with all this pressure. So the shrine count's only at 130, and yeah, these villagers, they're starting to get all the upgrades in. They do have the 2nd tier cherry orchard upgrade, but that's not useful if all the settlers are built up. He is now starting to get the Eastern medicine, which is the HP and attack for the Asian villagers.
Yeah, King's biggest problem at the moment seems to be the position on this coin mine at the front. He keeps wanting to use it, but it's in such an awkward position. The bows can always get a target on it, so maybe you should consider using the mine. Oh, it's 3 villagers on the left have been found by the pikemen. I think they are going to just escape though. The bows aren't going to be able to trap them, as it were. But yeah, Kaiser's now getting stagecoats, adding in the TPs.
Yeah, he sent 4 CDBs as his 3rd card as well, so he went 3 CDBs, 700 woods, 600 woods to fund that initial production, and then has transitioned into 4 CDB. And I think unless it looks like that 7 coins on the way, because he's macroed really nicely to age up. He's got 1,000 wood in bank, 1,000 food in bank as well, with 300 coin. And yes, the coin's just been shipped here, so Kaiser's going to soon find himself advancing to the 3rd age. And he still has all his sheep in his base as well as these 2 nearby coin mines. I think Kaiser's going to a lot of resources coming in the next couple of minutes to fund production once he's into the 3rd age.
Yeah, I think King's still in an okay position actually. Like immediately as soon as he saw the stagecoach come in, he now takes a TP of his own, so he didn't waste any time on trying to take advantage of Kaiser research. And that is unfortunately for him. Yeah, miss that. We got a little skirmish on the left-hand side. The Ashley's trying to stop the pikes, but Kaiser did bring in the bows to try and defend them. Annoyingly though, the bows are a tiny bit slower, so he's going to be chasing those for quite a while.
He just gives up. He knows that these Ashy Garras with the 4.5 speed are the fastest musketeers in the game, apart from a few mercenaries, and just has decided it's not worth trying to chase down. But he's now aware that there are 4 Ashies walking towards the base of Kaiserklein. So a bit interesting that Kaiser sent 1 CDB out to the left-hand side. He knows that the Ashy Garras are in the area, but KINGofOsmane has decided to actually retreat with his Ashy Garras back to base. Stable being dropped down in the centre of the map, and we do have a batch of 10 musketeers being produced as well, so possibly wanting to combat the Ashy Garras in the middle map while trying to keep on top of the shrine population as well.
Yeah, I think it's mostly because he wants to ship the 2 falconets first. So the best way to protect those probably is with the musketeers. That would be my assumption, though. Looking at the pop, maybe it was the 8 skirms he shipped. But the thing is, France, you're always going to get up to H3 a little bit quicker. So sometimes it's very tempting to ship the 2 falconets first before the Japanese player can react. But yeah, we'll have to see what he does. King's actually aging up pretty quickly, I'd say, for behind this. So he'll have the potential to ship 2 flaming arrows if it is indeed the 8 scum. The 2 falcons.
Yeah, he does have the full 8 villagers onto the Wonder builds now. He's now currently up to 200 shrine pops. So yes, although Kaiserklein had a really good age 1, done some damage in age 2, the Japan is going to start to scale really well at this point. So it's still anybody's game. Even though Kaiser's about to send his, he did send 2 Falconets first, but they came from the hometown centre, so it's going to take a little time for them to slowly walk across the map.
And yeah, if King can see all these muskets, I think what you do is you just blind ship the 2 flaming arrows. Like the only reason the French is going to have this muskets is because he's shipping two falcons first. So we'll have to see if King does actually pick up on that. But hopefully for him, he's got the falconets on the way. And Kaiserklein's going to have a small window to get some shots off. So we'll see what he targets. Maybe we'll go for the racks and the consulate with the. With the falconets. He's still got the 5 bows. They're going to come into a raid at the back. I don't know how much damage they'll get done in. Maybe just to distract King.
Yeah, even if they do pick up a couple of villagers or not, there's no villagers nearby, but the focus is on the front side of the base with these falconets and musketeers. And remember, KINGofOsmane does have the colonial militia, so if he does get enough resources, he can call Minutemen. He hasn't even called his first tier Minutemen of the 4 sentries and 4 regulars, so 2 flaming arrows come out, and that is enough just to push the French army back towards the mid base. But he has given up his consulate and his market. He's only got 200 exports, so maybe the consulate at the moment is not the biggest loss, and he's already got his all the market upgrades he needs. He has got Flume and Ditch in the 2nd tier coin, but only the 1st tier all-rounder, the civil servant, so he may not need to throw up any of those buildings again. Well, he has thrown up a secondary market in the back of the base, but he can see from the line of sight from all these shrines that the musketeer mass is pushed onto the right-hand side of the map to try and further take down and control the shrine population, but KINGofOsmane still at 200 with lots of shrines to the left and top side.
Yeah, this is looking to be a very close game, actually. Not at all sure how it's going to turn out. Kaiserklein is now sieging with everything, so he's kind of revealed that he's looking to go for a lot of hand cab now. He's even shipped the free cures. They're also on the field as well as the 5. So while that's going to help him get the shrines down faster, it is going to give King the opportunity to get the right composition he needs. He knows he's probably going to need just a lot of ashes and maybe less Yumis. I mean, King's known for just Yumis and walls, but I think if he sees this composition, he knows he's going to have to make a lot of Ashy Garrows. It's probably the best counter that you can do here.
Do you reckon we're going to see any Yabusamis being produced as well in this scenario, given that Kaiserklein is heavy infantry and heavy cavalry in siege? I don't think Naginata is going to be a good counter versus the heavy cavalry of Kaiserklein. Look at his cuirassier count at the moment. He does have in queue 13 cuirassiers, and I'm hoping he does push out with cav combat coming in, and I don't think he's got an arsenal at the moment at the back to get the cavalry cuirass as well, but this is a large investment of heavy cavalry, so hopefully KINGofOsmane can crack down the walls in front of the Japanese base with the musketeers and the falconets, but once he's found an entrance into the base, can just charge in with his 13 cuirassiers.
Yeah. We got a couple things going out on the map as well. We got a 1 Nagi raid at the top.
We've also got Caravel on the water, training from the dock. So he may have thought that KINGofOsmane may have sent shipments including 3 boats, 5 boats, and then the 3 boats from the consulate. But I think Kaiserklein would be a bit disappointed to only pick up the 3-boat ship. But yeah, that's a good reaction from Kaiserklein just to try and keep on top of this spiraling economic population advantage for KINGofOsmane. But we've got to remember Kaiser does have a 2 TP advantage, so it's still close, and the scores are really equal in this position. It's hard to say who's actually taking the advantage. I think KINGofOsmane has stabilised really well, especially with his massive disciplined Ashigaras. Hopefully he gets the close combat card in soon to help counter this large, massive cuirassiers, which is only starting to grow. He's up to 18 cuirassiers now, so 3 full batches of 5 cuirassiers and the 3 cuirassier shipment.
I almost wonder if you see this many cures as King, do you maybe train like 5 samurais even? Because like Kaizen hasn't even made a single scam, so it could be a nice counter. But
well, I think the samurais will only be useful if they're being used defensively and the cuirassiers are coming into the Japanese base. Pushing out these samurais there, I want to say they are slower speeds.
Oh wow! Oh, sorry, I missed that. Did you see that? But King took down one of the Falconets. It looks like some Naggies that were raiding made a move on the Falconets, and Kaiser wasn't quick
Oh,
enough to stop
yes.
it, and he took down one of them and
No,
half HP on the other one.
I missed that. I did see one Naginata kind of looking around Kaiser's top side of the base for Vils and just getting a bit of the lay of the land, but no, I didn't see a batch of Naginatas. He's got 8 Naginatas out on the field currently, and they were nearly just on top of the skirmishers, but he wisely pulled back after he saw the reinforced massive musketeers and cuirassiers, and this is a lot of heavy cavalry on the field. I don't think the Falconet is a threat now, but the new big threat is the cuirassiers, which do have the cavalry combat as well as the arsenal being produced, so cavalry cuirassiers will be coming soon behind, which is now costing only 300 coin due to a recent change, and you know, we're going to have some very, very strong cuirassiers with 625 HP soon, and that is a lot to deal with for Ashigaras with only about 40 hand attack each swing. Clubman's moving out behind, but may get picked off by the skirmishers if not being careful. I'm unsure what he's going to do. These clubman's pushing him so far away out from his base. These are... Oh, Yumi Archer's being picked up by the cavalry there, but he has now seen... Well, he's seen for a long time this cuirassier mass, and I think KINGofOsmane is very wise to sit in base and play defensive, but Naginata riders, I'm not sure what they're going to do versus cuirassiers, because Naginatas are not very good against other hand cavalry units. Clubman's pushing out. Is he going to pick up the Falconets? Is he? Oh, no. But look at this raid at the top. Clubman's trying to take on skirmishers.
Yeah, that was a nice... because the 8 skirms were like rallied to the mine, because that's where his like economic gather point was, and so those skirms were just there by almost accident, and so they were conveniently there to deal with the club raids. That's a little bit lucky there for Kaiser, but not a big deal. King's army's picking up in size now. They're pretty equal. Kaiser,
he knows that the cuirassiers are on their own left because he ran over the Japanese explorer on the floor, so he got line of sight. Naginatas have pinned down the cuirassiers, but with no close combat card coming for the Ashigaras, they're better off doing range damage than actually hand attacks. So Naginatas have pulled it away. Kaiser has lost probably about 5 cuirassiers. He's still at 17 cuirassiers due to another batch being trained. However, you know, KINGofOsmane is doing his best to negate this cavalry advantage. Flame Arrow is slightly out of position. Musketeers trying to pull back to body block, and yes, he's actually doing some good damage to the cuirassiers at this point, and the Nagis are still on the field, and once some of these musketeers get dropped down by the Ashigaras, we do have skirmishers at the back, but I think it's not enough cavalry just yet, and Naginata hit points just comes in slightly delayed at this point.
He still has a few, and he's got a reinforcing batch of Naggies actually, so it's not completely useful. He's going to get some value.
Ashigaras onto the musketeer mass of French players. No more musketeers around, and a few cavalry from French players still around, but Naginatas can just bypass the cavalry and go onto the skirmishers and let the Ashigaras deal with the heavy cavalry. And yes, the cavalry mass of Kaiserklein has dropped down to 2 cuirassiers, and he was at a position of having 20 of these heavy cavalry units, but now they're all gone.
Yeah, and the Nagi HP is definitely going to come in useful now. A little bit of a spike, which is certainly going to help King move in. But yeah, that fight went really well for King. Actually, he looks to be in a good position. Kaiser not happy with the lag. Oh, his skirms pathed a little bit awkwardly there as well. A few more dragoons, but the skirmishers, there's just not enough of them.
Well, nothing's changed on my end for it to not be unplayable for the time being. So maybe this is mechanical lag from one of the players. We do have more units on the field, and unpopular opinion here, it might be mechanical lag from Kaiserklein, because it usually always happens for Kaiser in these big fight situations. So I'm kind of identifying the trends among this point at the moment.
Yeah, he's really going to have to... Oh, that's a really nice pull trick, though. You can do that when you've got more goons than skirms. Calls out the Minutemen, definitely going to need them. Going to delay with some melee mode, so really nice. But yeah, it's spiraling a little bit out of control here. I don't really see how he kills this large Ashy mass. I mean, this is really good micro, though, by Kaiser.
He does have a raid to the top left with 5 Ashigaras on the coin villagers of the French player, and with a coin income disrupted for the Kaiserklein, he may be unable to reinforce his mass. We do have lots of Naginatas with the HP upgrade now coming clutch, pinning down the Dragoons. They can't run away. Ashigaras with a high speed of 4.5. This is very useful for the Ashigaras. You could even change to the speed upgrade from the Golden Pavilion just to close in anymore, but now the Dragoons are edged them out. They can't run away any further. They have to stand and fight at this point to protect the skirmishers as well, and this is a good fight for KINGofOsmane to take. Ashigaras do very well against Dragoons, either in range or in melee damage.
Yeah, Kaiser actually got a big reinforcing batch there. He got the 7 skirms popped out at the right time as well. I think with more, not like another 5 goons and 5 skirms, so he's actually managed to hold this. And yeah, that's actually pretty impressive. I thought he was just going to get steamrolled there, and that was just going to be it. But he's somehow held that with some really nice kiting micro on about 7 skirms. So King's been forced back. King is trying to get a bit of a raid on the left, but there's enough goons to deal with this. So Kaiser could actually be back in the driving position if he cleans this up. And yeah, King's just going to lose like all of these 5 goons. And these Ashes as well, they're just going to get picked off. Okay, they get 1 CDB, but I mean, not necessarily the biggest of deals right now. You'd probably rather have the units, to be honest, especially when not having the units is going to force you off these coin mines in the middle of the map that are becoming ever so more vital.
Kaiserklein has managed to reinforce really well. Currently got 15 population versus 35, and he's having to push some of these Japanese villagers off the coin mine to the front of the base, but he's now finally using his sheep in base as well as training fishing boats with his single docks. He's got 6 fishing boats gathering out, which it's not been a massive change, but it does actually supplement help his eco. He's dropping a town centre on these coin mines, so he's actually still in a very good position, and he's just playing for the long game at this point. And this game is this is not even over by any stretch of the imagination. We do have a Naginata raid on the right hand side, picking up some more CDBs of Kaiserklein, and checking by units lost. And we do have 11 CDBs have fallen so far for Kaiser this match, but 8 villagers and the 3 fishing boats for KINGofOsmane. So I would suggest honours even at this point in terms of amount of units being lost due to raiding. But looking at the amount of cuirassiers gone down for Kaiserklein, 23 cuirassiers have gone down and 41 Naginatas for Japanese players. So a lot of these cavalry units have already gone down this map, which signals a loss of resources.
Yeah, King's just trying to raid in multiple places. We've got two Nagi raids going on. Both are going to be cleaned up. Okay, he gets some more CDBs, but we can see the military pop has gone once again in favour of Kaiser. And yeah, he's going to hunt down all these remaining Nagis. I don't see them getting out of here. I mean, the main issue for King at the moment is he doesn't really have any coin mines he can access, so he's just going to have to start massing Yumis, which, I mean, it's kind of okay, really, because Kaiser's not making cures anymore, right? So actually, Yumi's is, to be fair, is the thing that you want now.
Especially now that the veteran skirmishers of the French player does have the team infantry range attacker card. It's only 10%, I believe, for the French player, but it also does have the counter infantry rifling, giving a ×3 multiplier versus Ashy Garrett. So this transition to Yumi archers has been really well thought out by KINGofOsmane. He's slightly overextending with no wall support to kind of block off from any dragoons and skirmishers poking in. So he's going to need to really work on this massive Yumi archers before being safe to push out. He does have 5 clubs moving right to try and take down his 3rd trading post for Kaiserklein, which has been up for the entire game as well. So that's been a really good investment.
Yeah. Kaiserklein in the back of his base, you can see his sheep's like they take 20 minutes to fatten without the livestock pen, but they're actually coming in useful now. So he's gonna have a little bit of a food boost. So that's gonna help Kaiser as well. He's managing to pick off these clubs as well at the front. But yeah, I think somehow Kaiser's put himself back in the driving seat. He'd almost looked like he was about to lose there. Maybe 5 minutes ago, so somehow he's put himself back into the league. Very impressive play.
Well, he has currently sent 2 military improvement shipments of the cavalry combat and the ranged infantry attack, which both of these units, the skirmishers and the dragoons, have been buffed. He's also got the ranged cavalry caracol, so each of his units, the cuirassiers, the dragoons, and the skirmishers, have got arsenal upgrades to help them out in the fight. So, you know, this is a good play from Kaiser. Quite a lot of times, players may either forget the arsenal or actually start to use the arsenal slightly later in the game before it comes into use. But Dragoons has got the extra range and attack, Skirmishers got extra damage versus the Cuirassiers, the Ashigaras, the Cuirassiers have got extra HP to attack from the Yumis. This is a well-rounded competition from Kaiserklein at the moment. He's pushing villagers away from his town centre and forcing the Japanese army back into the base again. And oh, look at the amount of gates he's made at this point. This is a lot of woods just to chuck into gates.
Yeah, I guess he does have the wood for the moment. I mean, King is utilising his walls quite well. He's kiting fairly well. Kaiser's not really able to actually push in. And this TC probably will go up, actually, if King somehow manages to get a few more vills. Yeah, I mean, the issue for Kaiser is he can't really push in with the cures. Maybe he's going to give it a little bit of a go, but then the Ashes come out. And yeah, he has to go back again. this caravel is actually coming in use a lot on the right. While all this is going on, he's taking down a few shrines as well, which is nice for him. TC does go up, so that's going to help King. But I mean, the scores are really getting away from King now. Kaiser's got a pretty big lead, even with this additional town centre up.
Yeah, King still has 200 shrine pop up, but he's actually had to force some of these shrines to be built at the back of the base. And we've got a Cherry Orchard moving and having to be placed really far away. Look at these two exposed Cherry Orchards. Kaiserklein can move down to the south map because we've got this trading route which blocks off any wall placement and can be scouted from the line of sight from the stagecoach. I mean, unfortunately, it does provide a small amount of line of sight now from the recent update, but these Cherry Orchards and shrines and, well, just the generic eco of Yuumi of KINGofOsmane is kind of exposed at the moment to the south side of the map, so a potential opportunity for Kaiserklein to do some lasting economic damage here, but starting to trade off skirmishers for Yuumi archers, and although these skirmishers do have the range upgrade, these Yuumi archers scale are significantly much better with the disciplined Yuumi archer, the ranged attack from the Golden Pavilion, but we yet to see any daimyos on the field from KINGofOsmane.
That's true. Kaiser's now got, I mean, he's got Cav HP in as well, so his cures are pretty jacked, to be honest. I don't see how you kill 700 HP cures as France. He's maxing out on population as well, so I wonder if he just... Oh, we got some petards.
Yeah.
I wonder what those are for. The TC? Or...
These boys are going to do some mighty fine work, but yes, I'm worried that they're going to get picked off by this Yuumi mass, especially if you walk straight in, but I tell you what I've also noticed, Kaiserklein's down to one more gold mine remaining, 1700 coin before you would have to transition into plantations. Does he use his coin to advance the industrial age so he can get his factories, or does he essentially stay in the fortress age and have to chop the woods available for the town centres? He does have all his fishing boats now onto the whales into the ocean. He's making really good use of this sea control now, which KINGofOsmane has decided to not use, and he's got his caravel to the south side, taking down a few of the shrines, but he's currently, the sea for Kaiserklein is currently untested. We do have Kyrgyzstan overextending from the rest of the army, trying to engage with the Yuumi archers and Ashigaras, but should back away before they're more getting poked, ranged down from the town centre. Colonial Minutemen, irregulars being produced from the forward town centre, as well as the first tier pikemen as well, so a good pop there, absorbing quite a lot of damage and letting the Yuumi archers and Ashigaras engage from behind.
Yeah, I mean it was a pretty equal trade. Kaiser just backs his hand cav out of there. But yeah, I mean the longer they just trade, the better it is going to go for France. France is now actually ahead on eco, ahead on army. Yumi's getting some nice volleys here though. And yeah, again he's got the wall to
that Yuumi mass nearly took down a QSA in one hit, and you know these QSAs are really upgraded with both the cavalry combat HP and the cavalry upgrade from the arsenal. Another set of Minutemen popped from the TC onto the Dragoons. These Dragoons are slow to react, and both the regulars and sentries do a lot of damage to these Dragoons.
Yeah, the cures aren't really finding any. Oh, the petards have come in as well, but they're on the TC. They're on the TC. I don't know if they're gonna. They actually did get it. So it stops any potential more Minutemen pops if that TC hadn't had the chance to use them yet. Where the bow comes in, are there going to be any Yumis left though to really use that? Yeah, there will be a few actually.
Wicked, this is such a tense game for game number 2 here. We do have Kaiserklein still pushing the military advantage on top of KINGofOsmane, but KINGofOsmane's strong ranged infantry units has managed to hold in their own against Kaiserklein. I think Kaiserklein starting to run out of steam due to the lack of coin mines. He does have 35 villagers gathering coin, and has he got transition to plantation? He's got one plantation over here. If I look at the economic units, he does have... That doesn't come up there. All units. If he does have... where is it? He's only just got the one plantation, with the rest of the coin miners getting the coin at the top. He's only got 200 coin remaining from this coin mine, so Kaiser needs to think about what he wants to do for his coin income moving forward. Oh, of course, he has all the fishing boats and the whales, of course. And these fishing boats, I mean, Kaiser's been playing really, really well this game. There's a lot of macro going on, but the fishing boats have not got their upgrades yet, and for 90 wood, 90 coin...
More petards, by the way.
Oh, they got picked off.
Yeah.
But yeah, these petards only cost food and wood, so if Kaiser has ready access to food and wood and struggles to get the coin out, these petards are very good distraction units and can pick off some of the shrines to either side. They only need one petard per shrine. Maybe not the best way to take down these shrines, but can certainly try and keep a cap on KINGofOsmane's eco, and it's still even Stevens at the moment between the two player.
Yeah, I would say Kaiser's definitely, he's made that coin transition pretty comfortably now. He's got 2 plantations next to the TC. You can always put trading posts on coin, but he's got 33 bills on coin. I think he's fairly happy now. On the other side, King hasn't really made that transition. He's repeatedly been chipping the cherry orchards. Only now does he have his first rice paddy going up. So this now comes the awkward spot where King has to add in 4 or 5 rice paddies of his own, and that's just a huge chunk of resources away from.
He still does have the 4,000 coin at the 4,000 food remaining in his cherry orchards to the south side of the map. And he does have his the shrines currently gathering coin, so that's his coin income for the time being. But yes, he will need to transition the rice paddies to further supplements. And taking a quick look at KINGofOsmane's deck, he doesn't actually have any economic upgrades really. It's all just military shipments, military upgrades, but no rice paddy upgrades, no villager upgrades. It's just he's having to rely on his rice paddy upgrades, because I don't think the imperial bureaucracy actually helps with the rice paddies.
Yeah, and I mean, King needs an answer to these falconets. His poor castle got taken down, so he's got one going up in the back.
And look, Petar's on the castle to the bottom. This is what's going to protect those falconets. KINGofOsmane not be able to train any flaming arrows from the south side, so that was a really good petard use from the south side. And I don't think there's a castle up at the moment for. Yeah, there's still a castle in base, and going for units in queue. Does he have a flaming arrow in queue? He does have 1 flaming arrow in queue, but Kaiserklein's got another 4 QSS coming in, and it's just Yumi archers on the field. Okay, he does have he still has his massive disciplined Ashid Garrus, and he's starting to get the flintlock upgrade for these Ashid Garrus. So he's making use of the advanced arsenal upgrades to the Golden Pavilion to stay in the game for the time being. And if Kaiser overcommits, he can lose his entire army very quickly to these Yumis and Ashid Garrus.
Yeah, King was struggling to get out those flaming arrows there. He had nothing on coin. I think he actually sold some at the market. He's got his shrines on coin, so he only gets out 3. That's possibly enough though to try and push these back. They're in an awkward position though. That they kind of need to get around this castle, and they're not passing that great. They're going to have to go around this rice paddy. So that's enabled Kaiser to get a few more volleys off of these spouts. He gets another volley off.
Kaiser does have a Culverin in queue, but Kaiser's population at the moment is 197, so he's currently at full pop. So, when you're at full population, you do want to start, pushing the advantage and try and trade off your population advantage over your opponent. He does lose 1 Falconet to the Flaming Arrows, so it's currently now 4 Falconets versus the 3 Flaming Arrows. But once the Culverin comes out, that should push KINGofOsmane's Flaming Arrows back and allow Kaiserklein to start pushing in. Look at this empty hole in front of the base. Even the Teshuga Shrine's gone down as well, so that's put a hamper on KINGofOsmane's eco. And currently, in terms of audience as well, eco units, Kaiser has 18 boats, and he's just getting the gill nets now at 33 minutes. So well done, Kaiser, for getting the really important upgrade. This is 15% resources for the fishing boats, and the next upgrade, long lines, only 200 wood 200 coin, is a plus 30. So a vast improvement on his coin income on the base, and it's much cheaper to go for the fishing boats and upgrades there than having to rely on plantations. But look at Kaiser's base, 2 plantations, 2 mills as well, and he's got his economy really set up for the late game at this point, and he's nearly got enough resources to advance to the 4th age. He's kind of held back KINGofOsmane's army in the base with the threat of 4 Falconets as well as a Culverin if it's around on the field. He's got 2 Culves up behind the Falconets, so try and protect them as best as possible. Naginata raided to the top side of the map. Villagers currently gathering wood slightly out of the way and at risk of being picked up, but he has, looking at the upgrades from created bar, he has the 2nd tier mill upgrade, the 1st tier plantation upgrade, as well as refrigeration. So, Kaiser has got he's got lots of CDBs on the field, he's got lots of fishing boats, he's got all the upgrades he really needs going on, and he hasn't got the long lines coming in just yet. But with all these resources and Kaiser advancing to industrial age with a shipment ready to go, I think Kaiser doesn't necessarily need to overcommit now. He knows that he has got the economic advantage, and
these Culves are going to get a volley off, I reckon. No. Almost. They did take out the Yumis.
Rest in peace, that 1 turkey. Naginata's coming in though, so he needs to quickly pull back his Dragoon mass, yes, and Curious has gone to body block the Naginatas, and yes, he has saved his Falconets, but in the meantime, the Flaming Arrows are engaging the Falconets. The Culverins need to be firing onto the Flaming Arrows as a massive priority. Falconets taking out 1 Flaming Arrow, Culverins taking the other. Siege advantage with the Kaiserklein. Skirmishers coming in as well, and he's going to stand and fight here with this Falconet advantage. 1 Falconet gets poked down by the Yumi Archers long range, and these Naginatas just ran through onto the 2nd Falconet. This is a close fight as well.
Yeah, can he get that final Falconet? He's going to get a couple more hits off. It might just go down. He probably need a volley from the Yumis just to finish it, but he can't because there's still cures left alive. So King retreated a little bit. But I mean, yeah. Again, Kaiser's going to be fairly fine with that trade. He's now going to be in age 4. He's got a ton of wood bank, so he can queue his upgrades in fairly quickly. He's just a tiny bit low on coin, but I mean, he can start adding factories, heavy cannons. I mean, we got a score difference of 100. It's
but what do you think? What do you think of Kaiser pushing at that point while he was Asian? This is KINGofOsmane's opportunity to kind of get back out on the map and try and wrestle some of his map control from Kaiser. He's got 2 stables in the center, 1 rack still up. He's dropping a 3rd stable, 2nd rack's back in base. You know, Kaiser's aware that he's got the economy to mass produce units at this point, but he's getting the Volty gears for the skirmishers, as well as he hasn't got the Gendarmes for the time being. But is he going to go for the guard dragoons? I don't know, but he has got 1 guard ship upgrade coming in for the skirmishers.
Yeah, I think he's probably fine. I think he was far enough ahead that he wasn't overly concerned. Yeah, it does give King a little opportunity to push out, which he's doing, but I mean, we can see the damage he's getting done. I think maybe he got 1 CDB and that was it. So, yeah, Kaiser's fairly safe. And now that he does have his age 4 upgrades and he can start maxing out his military again, King sees the age 4 upgrade, so he's going to push in. And, I mean, yeah, Kaiser still has to move back a little bit. But, I don't know.
Time out.
Yep.
So we got the courier says with all the shipments to be sent, the cav attack, HP, combat couriers, but also gendarmes being researched for the time being, and units in queue. We do have 10 courier says being produced. So once they pop out and get to the guard upgrade, we'll have about 20 courier or 20 upgraded gendarmes on the field, and these are going to absolutely shred. 5 courier says popping onto the Yumi archers, 5 in response as well, and yeah, actually, at this point, there's not much anti-cav at this point, being focused well down by the voltages of the French player. And yes, the gendarmes have just come in. 900 HP with 51 range attack, and Kaiserklein has managed to successfully take down KINGofOsmane's strongest civilization to take game number 2.
That was really close. King had that one. You know, there was that point in the game where he pushed Kaiserklein all the way to the back of his base. I thought that was it.
Wicked. The mic's kind of cutting out just a little bit there for the time being, but it was fine for the entire game.
Oh, right, hang on. Oh, sorry. Let me do that. Right, let me know. Is it back again?
Yeah, that's better. That sounds good.
Yeah, sorry. No, I just moved some stuff.
I'm just looking at your resources graph here, and it's so tight from essentially throughout the entire game, but from the middle portion of the game between 18 minutes and 27 minutes when they're both Fortress Age and continuously duking it out. It's just the economy was so close, but I think once the gill nets came in for the fishing boats, where after the refrigeration got shipped as well, and then the plantation upgrade, I think Kaiserklein's economy started to take away. But looking at the military population, you know, there's some decent fights throughout. Possibly Kaiserklein's first large push in the Fortress Age was a good trade for KINGofOsmane, which allowed him to stabilize. Well, that game was so long, 36 minutes, and there's a lot to talk about in that game. What was your thoughts with? So specifically with the Age 2 play, with the early crossbow pike, the Minutemen, was it the colonial militia from the Japanese player? What did you think of that?
I think King actually held that quite well. It looked like maybe he was struggling a little bit. He did lose the 2 villages, but the CM is kind of a nice counter to the crossbow pike. It just one shoots the crossbows, and so I think King actually arrived into Fortress Age in a solid-ish spot. Kaiser did ship the 2 Falcons first, but you know he only aged maybe a minute behind, so was able to get the 2 flaming arrows, and then kind of just waited it out as Japan does. Took a good engagement. I think the only thing that stopped him was Kaiserklein's usual godlike micro, which you can't really overcome too easily.
That's okay. Like, hope I've just closed off. I had it paused on my browser, but I have closed off the Twitch window stream, so hopefully that should improve any possible lag from my end. But I do believe that's mechanical lag, because it seemed to spike during the fights, and it's unfortunate because that's when the most attention is needed. So, if this trend continues through the tournament, we may have finally found a solution to the Kaiserklein lag situation. Maybe we need a second LAN tournament. So, who knows? ESOC LAN tournament 2 at Zeely's house.
Yeah. I think that's probably about the only thing that can stop Kaiserklein. So yeah, King's in a bit of an awkward spot now. Down 0-2. You've used Japan. Kaiserklein queues in Germany. On Arkansas.
Well, actually, I wouldn't be surprised if KINGofOsmane is going to stick with the Japanese civilization in this game because it's a really good counter for Germany, and because of Germany doesn't have the French gendarmes with the 900 HP, they only have the Uhlans and Kazapka Uhlans in age 4, shall I say. They're high damage attacks, but with the wars, with Yimi archers doing decent range attack from a long distance, it's quite hard to actually get those Uhlans into combat, and the only other cavalry options Kaiserklein would have would be the Hackapel shipments, the Guard Uhlan shipments, but apart from that, he's going to have to rely on heavy upgrades for his Uhlans with shipments, but it'd be quite tough to really press the cavalry advantage if you're playing the Germany, so we'll have to try and rely on a mixture of Uhlans, skirmishers, and maybe a few war wagons as well, but maybe we'll see the Jaeger shipment coming in clutch in this game.
Yeah, I think it's a good call actually that he'll probably will stay with Japan. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that you could reuse the civ that you've lost with. So, I mean, yeah, I don't really see any other options for King here. I mean, okay, he plays a bit of Germany France. Do you really want to queue Germany France against Kaiserklein? Probably not. So yeah, I think it's a good call. I think he goes Japan here. And I mean, he did show in the previous game that his Japan's pretty good. Like that was a long and close game. So it's he certainly's got a shot at winning against Germany. I'm wondering if he should just Japs it out. I think that probably is his best chance. I mean, he also plays a bit of India. It's not India's favorite matchup against Germany. No, he might be considering it. Certainly taking some time to think about it.
Right, I am back with you, Wicked. Is KINGofOsmane still thinking about the German civilization? No, the Japanese to counter the Germans?
He hasn't locked in, but he hasn't locked in. is the final answer to that. I mean, Kaiser, can't be bothered to wait for an answer. Just going to green up, but then realizes he hasn't locked in, so he ungreens. I mean, there's nothing else King can do here. You just got to Japan it out, pick up that 1 win on the board, throw down a cheese in the next game, bring it back to 2-2. I don't really see a better game plan than that. I mean, if you're down 0-2, you've just got to use your main civ. The one you got the best chance with. You can't go down 0-3.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a best of 7, so KINGofOsmane is basically needs to win at least one time with his favorite Japanese civilization. But I guess this civ rule this time is going to play into Kaiserklein's advantage, because the one thing which Kaiserklein has among other top level players, he has great mixtures of great unit control, great awareness, great game knowledge, great strategy, and that can be brought out and really shine in a long best of 7, best of 9 when you have to play a winning civilization only once, and there's no civ reset. So I think Kaiserklein's comfortable with many civilizations, and he's going for the Germany here. And this is, if you think his Ottoman play earlier today was good, and his French game last game was really good, Germans could be even better here.
Yeah, I mean, German on Arkansas is kind of like a classic pick, really. It's hard to see Germany getting a better map than this. So I mean, yeah, he's got a Japan.
I suppose KINGofOsmane could also go for the British. I mean, Arkansas does have a lot of safe hunts as well, and I would suggest that the style for the British player to go for would be maybe an early bow pike, possibly, or at least pikemen to deflect the Ulan raids while getting at a decent economy with the manor houses, but could transition to musketeer hussars with the upgrade cards and staying in Age 2. It's not a matchup I'm that familiar with.
Yeah, I think a lot of other top players would actually be selecting Brit. It's I think on that balance pot was like the top civ. So and it traditionally does do well against Germany, but I mean the question here is, does King pick Brit versus Germany? Probably not.
He's had time to think about it. He's going to stick with Japs.
There we go.
Japanese and British are very similar in kind of play style and units as well. So maybe we might see more wars being produced this game in Yumi Archers. We have to see how this goes. Whether Kaiser wants to do this in Age 2 with crossbow pikes, forward tower rush, maybe go for the trading post control, or whether he's going to go for a more, I wouldn't say standard, but go for a semi-FF and possibly rely on falconets as well to kind of push the agenda into KINGofOsmane's base.
Yeah. All right, let's check on the hunts. They
coin mines are fine.
Yeah, they seem alright.
Kaiser has a lot of hunts. To be fair, he's got
that's what I was just seeing.
That's starting. He's got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's essentially this hunt to the south is a little bit closer. You can argue is extra than what KINGofOsmane has. He's playing the Japanese civilization, so I guess from a Japanese point of view, the hunts necessarily don't really matter because they can go out onto the map and shrine around. So I'm happy to play this if you are.
Yeah, I would say this is okay. Little Kaiser favoured, but I don't think it needs a rehost.
Kaiser going straight for a 70 food treasure in the middle of the map. Looking at the crates, it was possibly 100 food and 100 wood, or just the 100 wood, but he has walked past this 70 food treasure, but he's starting to take 2 shots on black bears, crack shot the other, has also went to the right hand side of the treasure to try and scout if KINGofOsmane's explorers are nearby, given that KINGofOsmane has 2 explorers being Japanese, but KINGofOsmane's just picked up the 80 experience with 1 treasure, and look at this, he's going for an early trading post to the south side of the map. This is not what we usually see with the Japanese player.
Yeah, it's not often you see a German versus Japan where Japan's the first one with the trading post. I mean, thanks to XP treasure and that trading post, he got his shipment. In fact, he's got it so fast, he's just stacking it. He hasn't even chosen his deck yet. I think he was scrolling. You know when you like main a city of like 30 decks, right? So he got the shipment, and I bet he was just like scrolling through like 30 lines trying to find the right deck, which is why it took him 10 seconds to send it.
He needs to throw down a shrine very quickly, so he's been gathering the wood for it, and yes, he's chucking a shrine on the bottom, and I assume his first card would be Heavenly Kami, because he's currently at 9 villages on the map, 10th in queue, but doesn't have the population space to train or send the 2 settlers, so KINGofOsmane going for Heavenly Kami again for the second time in this series. Kaiser working away on his 70 food treasure in really close to KINGofOsmane's base, so Kaiser's picking up 2 food treasures here, which will, again help his age up time and hopefully age up with 17 villas idleless.
Oh, hello, 300 wood. Got a little pause due to some hardcore spikes. All right, if it's unplayable, I can always leave. Let me message them. Yeah, I was doing some ops games with King earlier actually, and we had some smooth stuff, and we had all the UI and that. So yeah, very strange.
Yes. And obviously, we want the players to have the most optimal environment for them to actually play this game. However, like Kaiser said, it was fine for the 95% of the time. Hopefully, it's going to be fine for any large engagements, which will be deciding the map. But this is currently early on into the game, so hopefully it's not mechanical lag, because not much is happening right now between the two players.
Nah, sometimes you just get unlucky spikes, but
Yeah.
I think he'll be all right. Back on with the game. Kaiserklein, he's going to be fairly happy with his age one, just getting the more and more free coin. I guess the only thing he's going to be disappointed with is you always want that 200 wood start as Germany, but I guess you can't always live the dream. Some games you have to fight for the win.
So KINGofOsmane is now dropping down a consulate. Do you reckon he's going to go for the Portuguese consulate, and then which has the cheaper building costs, and then send Heavenly Cami as his second shipment? Because he looks like he's just sent the shipment, because he hasn't got any shipments in queue, and that trading post must have given him enough experience to send a second Age 1 shipment.
Yeah, possibly. I'll be honest with you, my Japan knowledge of builds isn't the best actually. Yeah, I'm not sure I've seen this build very often, but yeah, you called it. He's got the Portuguese consulate going, so he's just spent 200 wood to get the TP. You ship the 300 wood to get like 100 wood back, and still get the Cami and another two. Is he just going to try and like steal the line from Kaiserklein? I mean, that's a way of stopping the German train, right? Just take all the TP so he can't get one.
Well, it's like when you play the Dutch, you always want to invest all your resources into your own economy with banks, but if you actually capture the trading route before your opponent does, then you're investing essentially a less amount of resources into a building which actually could provide you quite a large payoff in economy in return. He waited for the Portuguese consulate to come in so that he can actually save some of the woods building and take the second and third trading posts. And looking at some of the treasures picked up, KINGofOsmane did pick up a wood treasure early on. If I'm scrolling back, he did pick 75 wood up early on as well, as possibly 50 coin, 80 XP as well. So he has picked up some early treasures, and that maybe does bring up the chat log increase lag, because that's what I was doing before the lag spike came in for both players.
Well, yeah, I don't actually know. I guess try not to do it, and we'll find out.
I don't know. We'll find out. But
yeah,
Kaiserklein is standing around at the bottom left trading post, and we do see a tower coming mid-map for Kaiserklein. So yes, he's possibly going for more of a tower rush style. He may drop a barracks, start with phase 2. He does have 200 wood already in the bank, so this could be a very quick lay down the barracks. And yes, we see a barracks foundation being chucked down right in front of the Japan's base. But look at this wall in already. He's KINGofOsmane. I'm not going to suggest he's identified this, but maybe Kaiserklein is thinking, okay, KINGofOsmane's got 2 trading posts already. This is very, very greedy from the Japanese player. This will allow me to push out with an earlier force. But yeah, look at this wall. Yes, he needs to wall off, at least past this coin mine. Maybe have a second layer of wall coming from like a left to right. So if he does break it at the bottom, he can kind of move around. But actually, these walls only being 1500 HP. He could just charge in through the front side. Yeah,
no, I think this is just a standard reaction from KINGofOsmane. Like his opponent could be British playing like Virginia Company, and KINGofOsmane's standard reaction is to like double wall up at the front.
But look at this 8 crossbows shipped as first shipments, and as soon as King will see this, he will change how he plays style differently. He had 2 shipments on Egypt, and he's already sent 2. Yeah, he's just cancelled 1 and resent his second shipment. So he's committed to the first Age 2 shipment, which may be like 600 would I? That's what I would want to guess would be a good open shipment, but may have then changed into maybe Yumi archers or musketeers to defend further. Kaiserklein has walked into the base, but look at these crossbows. They're trapped on the inside, so he's going to have to stay around, but he will be committing to stand underneath the town centre of Osmane, and Osmane does have 4 settlers out at the base to the north, continuously gathering, while the rest of the villagers are...
Does he see it? Oh, yeah, I wondered if he just couldn't see like the villager, because he actually had enough bows to one-shot it for a while, and like King just magically popped it in at exactly the right moment, even though it was ranged for quite a while.
So you identified last game that having these 10 crossbows can one-shot villager. He did send the 8 expo shipment and probably a batch of 5 crossbows as well, so he's got enough to one-shot villagers, but for the time being he's losing quite a lot of crossbows due to this town centre, so he's only got 7 remaining, but it has built up a sizable portion, and colonial militias just come in for KINGofOsmane, or the enlist irregulars, but these are now one-shotting the expos, and this could turn into the same playstyle how the last game turned out. Kaiserklein now training pikes, sieging down the trading posts, and KINGofOsmane may have just sent enlist irregulars just to defend from the Expos in base, which could have been done maybe with the Yumi archers. He does have the wood crates available on the floor. He has not gathered them up just yet, so he should be aware. Pike Militia called out to ward off the 2 cavalry units, and we've got another 2 Alliance coming in, being scouted by KINGofOsmane's wall. Yes, he's now gathering the wood crates, and look at one of these explorers, top left, shrining up Kaiserklein's hunt to the top side of the base, where the other monk is currently taking a rest in the Japanese home base, but can be revived quite easily and then start to move to the top side as well to get some shrines down.
Yeah, it's looking pretty similar to almost identical, to last game. Kaiser pushes in, he gets repelled. This time though, King doesn't lose those 2 villages, which is important for him. The only disadvantage this time for King is he's not going to have that extra trading post like you do on Florida. You kind of had that tucked away in your base that Kaiser couldn't really do anything about. But this 3rd trading post, I think, is just a bit too far away from King's base, and that he's not really going to be able to stop Kaiser getting it. I mean, he's delaying him a little bit with these pikes, though Kaiser really doesn't even have the 200 wood yet. He only just now getting the 200 wood. He's got to make sure he doesn't lose this Explorer, though, because that could certainly delay him getting the...
Also, if you've seen KINGofOsmane's shipment progression, because he had that early 2 trading posts, he's managed to get up quite a lot of shipments, and even sending 4 settlers now. And so maybe last match, I'm not too sure he actually even managed to squeeze in the villager shipments from the Japanese player. But look at these 3 settler wagons sent to the forward tower. I understand that you want to kind of spread your villagers out so you don't have to burn through all your resources at home that much quicker, but having 4 settler wagons up right next to the Japanese player base with Ashley Garrows with their high speed nearby, this is a ballsy move from Kaiserklein. He must be on top of his micro if units start to push out here.
Yeah, it's something I see him do quite a lot, and to access those extra resources, and so you don't all run out of hunts in your base at the same time.
Kaiser's taking the trade. He sees that he can take down the 4 Ashley Garrows as well as 1 settler being out of his base. So he's going to make the most of the opportunity. And yeah, it does pick up essentially 1 villager for 1 Ulan there. So yeah, a nice trade there for Kaiserklein, especially these Ulans being these Ulans were free from home city shipments, and 700 coin coming in for Kaiserklein. He's on his way up at the moment, so he's put enough pressure to kind of get the reaction out of KINGofOsmane, gone for some TP control, and then followed up with the Vil shipment, 700 coin, and is now aged up to Fortress Age. So yeah, near enough carbon copy of what we saw last game, to be honest.
Yeah, and I mean, King's doing the same. He's got his own coin shipment that he's just sent. He's now switching all his villagers to food. And presumably, yeah, he's going to age up behind it. I think there's going to be a slightly bigger window for Kaiser to do some damage, because he's still like 700 food away from aging. Not crazy far, but he hasn't started aging yet. So
well, he does have the market. He does have all the he has good market ups. He has the 2nd tier food and the civil servants for food gathering. He could buy a little bit of food here and there just to help him up. And in terms of units in queue, he's still got 1 settler in queue, so he can buy a little bit. But the Portuguese consulate reduces the cost to about 1,000 food. He's just dropped down his age 3 wonder behind all his walls. So yes, he'd be shortly following up Kaiserklein to the 3rd age, and we'll be getting the batch of Yumi archers from the Golden Pavilion, and we'll be playing the game in age 3. And look, he's going for a 2nd tier wall at the to the west, like top left of his own base. So he's starting to creep out with walls, and Kaiserklein hates this matchup. He's repeatedly said that Japan's a civilization he doesn't like playing. He doesn't like playing against, and because of the Ulan's low HP, he's going to really struggle to try and actually push in through multiple walls and take on very strong archer units of Japan. So I think we could even go as far as seeing maybe a fast industrial from Kaiserklein, because he has shipped the 8 skirmishers, but if he's going to see this level of wars and has the map control, he may want to change how his playstyle will go. So it's all going to depend on his next car he's just sent. He's just sent another shipment. Villager, the population has exceeded the 90 housing, so he has just sent himself a military shipment. Be interesting to see what he's going for, and it could even be just 9 Ulans, because he hasn't got the veteran Ulans yet. He needs to get that in very soon. He doesn't have the wood available, but he would have wood coming in from the trading post, so hopefully he doesn't lose too many Ulans early on before being upgraded. But he's just taking down the inner layer wall. Yumi archers coming out does have the Colonial Minutemen available to push out. He's got Irregulars going out. Is he going for the pikemen? Does he have the resources available? Not just yet. But look at these Ulam. They're just dropping to all these ranged infantry. They have low HP, especially with the enlisted Colonial Militia from the town centre fire of King of Osmane. That's doing a lot of damage. And yes, 9 more Ulans being shipped, but these are still second-age Ulans. What do you think of this, Wicked?
Yeah, he can't push in. There's too many buildings. You know, King can call out the villagers. There's gates everywhere. So I think Kaiser should do what he does best, which is kite with skirms, try and get as much value, more value than other players would. And yeah, here we go. We got another villager just walking out the front again, just picking up some good value. We've got 5 Naggies though, so King is developing like the right composition.
Yeah, I'm about to say that those skirms were overextending because he may not realise there's cavalry in the field, so you can always run away from the infantry units of King Osmane. But if the Naginators snared those skirmishers, then all those skirmishers would be most likely going down. But
he can catch 5 skirms here. They're going to get trapped. Yeah, maybe get probably not all of them, but 3 skirms for free. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty nice.
With no war wagons on the field as well, the only way to defend off this cavalry pressure is also the hand cav of the German units. And if those cavalry units get so close into the base, he's just going to take volley fire from the Yumi archers and the Ashigaru musketeers. And yeah, it's hard to call as well at the moment. Kaiser's doing a very good job though of trying to clear out the shrines, at least in the mid map and to the south. He has those pikemen still available, and you know he traded them about 5-6 minutes ago, and they're all still alive. So yeah, you're getting a good return on these units so far.
Yeah, and you can be sure that Kaiser's next batch is going to be war wagons as well. I mean, sure, King picks up 3 skirms, but the disadvantage is that he had to show like his big or fairly substantial Naggy mass.
Yeah.
He will try and take down the pikes, but Kaiser's going to push in. Is King reacting? He needs to get those villagers in.
Military shipment.
What is that? It's
rickshaw,
not an auction,
it's not cherry. It's only 200 woods worth of. He's not going to get it down yet. Things blocked, but he's enticed the entire army to walk into the base even further. Look at the army. He's moved to beyond the inner wall out to the south to protect it. But Kaiserklein shipped 3 war wagons and trained 5 of his own, so he's got a large mass. And King of Osmane desperately needs pike militia, the large batch of pike militia, to help out. And he did complete a 3 Naginata batch, so he may have invested resources in Naginatas instead of pike militia. Another 5 shipments of Naginatas coming in, so you know this is a good prediction from Kaiserklein. Has he got himself trapped by the villagers, skirmishers sieging the consulate there? He slowed to get out there if King of Osmane tried to push in with his disciplined Ashis and Yumi archers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Kaiser was a little bit worried, and it's always such a risk when you know your opponent is the colonial militia to stand siege in a TC when you know there's potential for them to pop like I'm not sure what it is, 16, 20 units. It's a lot of units. I noticed actually King never actually had the resources to pop it. I guess he could always buy food at the market now. He's probably got enough bank now.
Well, he had the resources, but he chose to invest them into Naginata riders. Right. Like he was queuing a batch of cavalry during that process, or he had just completed the batch. So it's specifically because all those units were on the town centre there. That'd been a really good opportunity. Yeah, big raid possible, but Naginata's going to the top side. He may wants to focus off these pikemen and protect himself from his economy, but he may have also he's running past these villagers here as well. So he's trying to take on the pikemen out of position, no support. But yeah, King Osmane's actually missing, but he's turning south. He has seen this here, hasn't he? Yes.
Yeah, he's seen it now. Yeah, I was going to say there's some big pickups.
And the entire army is out of position, but I also worry that King Osmane's out on the map now. He may actually get caught out by all this army, especially the now veteran Ulans, Cav combat, war wagons moving as well, skirmishers coming in, and he also has the arsenal up nearby. I'm not too sure he's getting any techs from the arsenal just yet, but he can get himself counter infantry rifling and the range cavalry caracold for his war wagons. Oh, I like this wall here. He hasn't, as the game goes on, he's still focused on the wall, and although he can run through this kind of opening here, that has protected all this infantry. He's going to go to the east and he'll see this new layer of wall, thinking, oh, where'd they go? And we'll have to funnel through this small choke as well, so it's good tactile base layout from King of Osmane. Even if there are holes, it will funnel in, all those units into a small choke point to be picked off.
Yeah, I mean Kaiserklein's not being deterred though. He's sort of...
Oh, this is huge. two Uhlans at the top, scouting out all these coin miners,
Oh
and
no!
there is no army nearby. And yes, King Kaiser's just going to turn around and say, "Oh, thank you very much. I will take that. Yes, please."
What is that? That's 12. Oh.
Oh.
Oh no!
Oh.
12 bills. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty rough. I mean, yeah. The one thing you're relying on Japan, as Japan, is to win out on the eco, and you can see he did actually have more recalculated eco, but obviously he was not after he was going to lose 12 villagers up there.
Well, actually, looking at all resources gathered, it's kind of hard to say because you do have the stagecoach working as well and various crate shipments throughout. But Kaiserklein, once he got the 3 TPs going, he did have a very good income of resources per minute, like a high gradient or like a high rate of income, and actually always had more resources than KINGofOsmane. So KINGofOsmane was playing defensive, trying to rely on eco and shrines out on the map, but actually Germany's map control with settler wagons on hunts to the middle of the map, coin mines, and the TP stagecoach to the south actually came out on top in terms of the economy, which translated to a very strong military force in the third age. You see how the military population basically explodes once Kaiser gets to the third age.
Yeah, Kaiser was doing a nice job of keeping the shrine count down as well. I don't think it ever really got over 100. I noticed he still was having 5 pikes sieging throughout all of that. And then, yeah, I mean, it's always a risk sending like vills out to a random mine, especially against Germany and especially against the top level Germany. But sometimes you've got to take risks and hope they pay off.
I've just got a still image of the German cavalry unit swords are in the air and both the villagers are on their knees because they've already been killed off, so you can see by experience. But like it looks like they're about to be kind of executed by the German cavalry, which is quite a funny sight. But certainly when you have another 20 cavalry units coming from the south, it would have been a massacre.
Yeah, that was not going to go well.
No. But yeah, no, I think that was, again, really well played by Kaiser in terms of early pressure, force and reaction, and then once had map control, essentially mass up and get a good army in age 3.
Yeah, so King now down 0-3, Kaiser up 3-0. Fourth map, Colorado, and looks like Kaiserklein has locked in Iroquois.
Have you seen many games so far, matches this series or this tournament?
I've seen the odd one. Are you thinking of any in particular?
Well, I'll just let you know of one of the previous Colorado's matches we've seen. I've seen a China versus India where India shipped 600 coin to the mid map as soon as his aggro got sieged down. So that wasn't pretty. China obviously then rolled over afterwards, basically sending their merc shipment for free or just using the coin to just continuously mass in units. I've also seen Oli Veza defeat Sampu Konku's India for that matter by taking all 4 trading posts as Ottoman, and the shipment sent for Oli Veza, listen to this, was advanced trading post card number 1.
Oh,
Silk
yeah,
Road.
No, I did see that.
You did see that. Oh yeah, and then
that was quality.
And then quite a fast revolt. And if Oli Vez was to relook at that map and relook at that build order, could be further refined even further to get a faster revolt. So the change of allowing the TPs having no town center radius has actually really helped the meta kind of evolve a little bit, because the TPs are now just they're out of the map and they're available for everybody to make.
Yeah, no, I did enjoy that one. You usually get quite active games on Colorado just because the resources that there's not so many of them next to your town center. To be honest, I think it's one of the lower resource maps, ESOC wise anyway. And the mines are a bit more spread out, so you usually get a few more active games where players are fighting in various different locations. So yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe that probably won't help a Japan pick, or would it?
Japan has been picked on this map numerous times this tournament, really, and it's not a bad Japan map. If Japan is picked, I would like to see the explorers go together to the south side or the top side, because some of these treasures are quite strong, like with 3 or 4 wolves guarding 90 coin, 110 coin, native warriors, as well as like 2 grizzly bear treasures, and a single Japanese explorer cannot take on 2 grizzlies by himself. So KINGofOsmane may want to do this. He can use the cliffs to wall off, but ideally this isn't really a a great Japan map, especially if you're versing a aggressive civ like Iroquois, who could go for the age 2 forward war hurt, shipment spam, and then take some TPs as well if he hasn't knocked over the Japanese player that quickly. But it's also got a really good semi-fast fortress with very strong infantry units buffed by the Iroquois Explorer, as well as the infantry upgrade cards that the Iroquois has available.
I reckon King's probably feeling now's the time to change Civ. I think after you lose with Civ twice in a row, you just sort of, mentally it goes. So I reckon Germany, France.
I mean,
possibly.
Hopefully King of Osmane is going to go into the next game with a positive mindset. However, you're 3-0 down against possibly the favourite or seed number 1 in this tournament, and voted number 1 likely to actually reach the final and win from all the other pro players in the division. And the winner of this map will advance on to face either Nushalbar or Perez into the round of 8, the quarterfinals, but also will guarantee themselves a prize pool of $125. So this is still quite serious to actually win this match, but the loser will face a Chinese player by the name of ZZWWJJ or Zwij. When you design a player name, why would you pick that?
Maybe it makes more sense in Chinese. That would be my only guess.
Just checking if there's anything else I can shut down, because it looks like I've got a bit of a lag spike at the moment, but it was pretty alright during the game there, so hopefully it's only momentarily and goes through.
Yeah, you're cutting a tiny bit out on my end.
So hopefully waiting just to get through, because I'm not using anything else from mine, but who knows, my dad might be downstairs watching YouTube. These are the considerations, yes.
Yeah, so let me see if we can get King's attention.
But like the thing as well, like I have cast his previous series, including Kick-Ass, North American players. Also had a Wukul before, who's a Chinese player. So I've cast games from players from all around the world, and it's been all right. So hopefully it's not too bad. But when you get to the highest level of gameplay, the players really do like a really good playing environment. King of Osmane's gone for the Indian civilization here, and that reaction from you, WickedCossack, suggests that you're possibly not agreeing with this pick. What do you think?
No, it's just I feel like I know what he's going to do, but I won't say just in case he's not sure about it and the stream gets delayed or whatever. But yeah, I mean I know he's practiced this matchup, so that's something that helps.
Oh, I've just worked it out. I think I've got the stream on my phone, which is using some of the bandwidth and Wi-Fi. So I just turn the stream off on my own phone, because sometimes I have it just there, just occasionally, just to check if it's all going well. Because I've only got a single monitor at the moment, which I bought myself a second monitor, but it has a VGA output, and my customized PC doesn't have a VGA input. I'm like, what? Really? Why? It's annoying.
Yep, standard first world problems, right?
Yeah. Well, we're going to spawn in and jump into game number 4 between Kaiserklein and King of Osmane. The map is Colorado, and we're on match point for Kaiserklein. Kaiser chose to pick his civilization first is Iroquois, and he's going to spawn on the right-hand side of the map in the color blue, where his opponent, King of Osmane, has decided to switch from the Japanese civilization and go for a counter pick of India for game number 4. He spawns on the left-hand side in the color green, and hopefully his green colour will help his units camouflage into the grass and on the minimap and get some cheeky raids. Do you think players pick colours dependent on map textures and map layouts to try and get a bit of advantage they can?
Well, surely not. But I don't know. Maybe someone does. I wouldn't. It's nothing I consider. Nah. No one will go that low.
King of Osmane, he may be playing green colour for all he knows, but he may have frontal throw colours on himself. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, as an opponent, you can always turn them on to get the red and blue that you want. So let's see, what's Kaiser going for here? Oh, so he's actually just going for like a double double grizzly bear and then just pick up like every other treasure.
Obviously, one grizzly bear is the treasure guardian, 10 hand damage, and is not amazing, but not terrible. But look at the stats on this on Poncho or Honcho, the pet grizzly, 27 times by 3 for treasure guardian.
What?
So any of these treasure guardians.
Is that always been like that? He does like 90 damage.
It's always been like that. But what they did do is they did reduce the number of treasure guardians needed for pet animal treasures. So this is a very strong pickup compared to what it used to be, and you can see these honchos will two-shot a wolf very easily and will do more damage than the actual Iroquois explorer. So he's picked up the treasure on the north, and he's now moving down to the south, and he could pick up the 3 sheeps. Maybe not useful for the Iroquois. 95 wood is available. Nuka Clubman, which can do a number on an Indian villager in the middle of the map, trying to lay down an aggro fort. And looking at the mini map, it looks like that there's not enough space in the middle of the map to drop the aggro, so he had to drop the aggro either near the coin mine on his side or overextend and drop it on the coin mine on the Iroquois side. If he's going for an out-base aggro, he may go in-base if the Iroquois has also been very aggressive. But look at the honcho's damage.
I know. I've just been watching it. That's incredible. So I guess the idea is as soon as you pick it up, you just pick up like every other treasure on the map. So Kaiser's been scouting for me. Split off his second grizzly bear, which is now like the the least favorite child. So the poor guys had to go around finding the treasures.
The less achieving brother of the family.
Yeah. God, look at him go. Wow.
Yeah, that's.
I've never seen him. I feel like I should have seen this, but I just never seen it. He's really good.
So how the Sioux civilization have a 3 pet grizzly bear shipment in Age 2, and it's usually used as a kind of a substitute for a 3 axe rider once you've sent 4 axe riders, because they have no multipliers. So if against pikemen, they're very good units, or better than axemen would be against pikemen, but that's the only other time you can really see these units in Cuba. In Age 1, absolutely destroying the map. And looking at treasures already picked up from specifically Kaiserklein, we have he's tamed the bear to start off with, but he also has the 95 wood, 90 food, and
going out.
120 XP. Oh no, please!
He's not going to get it up, is he? Can he?
No, obviously once you lay it down, it's set, and that's fine.
Oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Yeah, he's going to get it.
Yes, he's got it up, but well, to be fair, both these have a very low multiplier versus villagers. They're going to do chip damage, 1 or maybe Poncho's going to do 3 damage or 2 damage, but it's not like he's got a native warrior. That's the other treasure he could have picked up, which is the clubman here. Also nerfed in this patch to do half damage in Age 1, but 5 damage is a lot more than these 3 units put together. But yeah, look at the pet grizzlies. He's scaring the Indian elephants away, because the elephants do not have a multiplier versus the pet bear. They do have versus the treasure guardians, but the pet bear, 220 hand attack. This could be a strong amount of XP. 45 XP there for Kaiserklein, and yeah, this is going. Run away! No, don't engage it. KINGofOsmane knows that there's a pet bear on the loose, and it's just.
Oh, don't go back in. Don't go back in.
Yeah. Have you noticed though? He doesn't have the bonus damage versus the converted animals. So these converted animals are no longer treasure guardians. They should have the multiplier versus these, but for some reason the multiplier hasn't worked there. But yeah, KINGofOsmane is just thinking, what on earth has happened here? Yeah, that is a comprehensive Age 1 victory for Kaiserklein, if any of you've seen before.
Yeah. So I guess onto the matchup. Looks like there's 2 ways to do it. Sit in your base straight FF, which I was right. That was what King was going to do, because he did that in a few of the few of his practice games. The other way to do it is Sompu Tabin style, 5 Seagoy, 4 Sours, all in, just try and screw up the Iroquois before he can go Fortress, and that looks to be what King's gonna do. Just checking around King's base to see if he's snuck up a market at all. Consulate. Sorry, I didn't see that.
He has sent a consulate mid-map, and he sent a second villager out on the map to build that. But he had the villager nearby for the aggro fort, so he sent a second villager out. And if he sends like a shipment like 5 Seapoys or 4 Sours, he also gets a villager sent to his forward aggro. So possibly not needing to send all these extra units forwards to drop the consulate, and now will have 2 and maybe 3 and 4 settlers away from the initial safety base of the Indian player. But two sepoys walking towards the aggro fort, and do we have any units in queue for KINGofOsmane? He's got a full batch of 4 sepoys currently, 4 just being trained and going off to revive both the explorers who, have the extra HP from the age up, but now can, help, can now heal each other. Diplomatic intrigue does come in. Home City's shipment point still remains at the town centre for the Indian players, so the villagers spawned out there does stay in the safety of the Indian players' base, but the 300 exports, he's gone for the Ottoman consulate as well, so that's going to provide him with a... Oh. He's going for the Hussar batch, so he's not going for the villagers, he's going for the Hussar batch, so an early 3 Gardner Hussars, and possibly could follow up that with either 5 Sepoy or 4 Sowers, but Kaiserklein, look at him, he's got a nice defensive walled base with the longhouses, the war hut and market, and you don't usually see Iroquois walling up with houses because longhouses are 15 population, usually one's chucked around mid-map due to the TP, the travel you get on age up, but yeah, no, it's quite defensive, especially having all these extra tomahawks and a few ANs being trained, and Kaiserklein has shipped the all resources card, I think 800 resources, 400 woods, and the others 600 coins, so he's going to do a semi-FF to the Fortress Age, and if the Indian player wants to push in, he has to deal with the town centre, the war hut, the big button, possibly a unit shipment from the experience gained from the TP to hold any pressure in intermittent. And I think we're going to see a relatively quick game in Age 4. It's going to be it's either Indians going to push in and break the Kaiserklein's base, or Kaiserklein's going to age up and successfully get out a unit shipment, a batch of maybe 5 skirmishers, or should I say forest prowlers himself, and we're going to see how this goes. There's no fire pit down at the moment, but I think you're not needed. We've got the 2 elephants pushing in first with the 3 hussars. They're getting trapped in between the war hut and the town centre. There's no resources available for the war hut, for the big button, but we do have 3 tomahawks in queue, and if they do pop out, they pop out to the south side. They could have popped closer to the elephants, but yeah, 1 elephant goes down.
It's maybe a good decision to actually siege the war hut. I would have thought about just going straight in, but that's going to stop any additional forest prowlers being trained, which is nice.
Travar does come out and lay down a secondary war hut as well, so KINGofOsmane has pushed in, but he's decided to pull back at this point, and I think he could have at least tried a little bit better to pushing for at least the next 15. No, not like that. But like he's got 15 seconds and 20 seconds to press his advantage before the first shipment comes in, and at that point he would have to decide whether he commits or pulls back to the aggro fort.
Oh yeah, he needs to get damage done now. I think he got maybe about 2 though. Going in now. This engage is good because the first shipment hasn't come in. The hussars are onto the arenas, and the tomahawks are actually at the back. Kaiserklein's keeping his explorer safe, but
no units in queue for Kaiserklein. The entire eco is built up at the moment. He's pulling back his colonial army to the top right of the base, trying to get away from these sepoys. 9 tomahawks get sent as first cards, and that isn't the skirmisher shipment possibly coming in. We do have 4 Sowers coming up afterwards, and Kaiserklein needs to sit in base and wait for his secondary shipments to stabilize. The elite tomahawks has not been upgraded at the moment, so we've essentially got a really strong Iroquois explorer at full HP. Look at that crack shot there, 2 dropping down, as well as a lot of damage taken for another 3 sepoys there. So that's a really good use of the Iroquois explorer, especially with full HP that he's at. He hasn't got a war hut to kind of make use of it. Honcho, the pet grizzly, doing shit damage to Villager, but 40 hand attack, and these do nice damage to one of your Sowers.
Yeah, I didn't realize it leveled up. I'm curious to know what the age 5 Honcho has. It's probably a
probably 60
ridiculous.
To be honest. Like Treasure Gardens are one of those units which do auto level up, and you might see some of the Indian players send in that card which you can train tigers from your explorers, and if you're in the 4th age, these are industrial unit tigers. I don't know how tigers get better with age, but somehow maybe it's just better training methods from the Indian player. We finally do see the 8 forest prowlers being sent for Kaiserklein, and now has a mixture of elite tomahawks, which are great against cavalry, and can stand toe-to-toe with the sepoys, but these forest prowlers have the range advantage, the ×2 multiplier, and can actually beat the Gurkhas for the time being. Gurkhas only have 18 range in the 2nd age, with forest prowlers at 20, more HP and a higher attack. The sepoys can engage the forest prowlers, and he's decided to push onto the aggro fort already. He may think that there's not many other units coming in, but the Ottoman consulate is still on, and so the Minutemen, European Minutemen, can still be popped from the aggro fort if he wants to come in and try and take this fight, but the sepoys are really far away. Gurkha's proking, and I think Osmane is undecided if he wants to commit to this or not. He's trying to work it out, but sends in Seaboys first. He's taking all his range damage from the Tomahawks. That's not what you want to do. These cavalry units are precious. Possibly go Seaboy in first to take the initial brunt of the infantry units, but 600 would have been sent in for the Indian player. Luckily, he sent to his hometown centre because he knows that his aggro fort is at risk at the moment. And yes, he can't commit at this point. I don't think he hasn't sent the Minutemen. Still on 370 export.
Well, yeah, the aggro's at 855. If you are going to save it, fine. He's whittled down the forest proud number a little bit. They're kind of got a really... No, maybe he does just have to give it up. I mean, you either... Maybe he's waiting for the 400 export for the husk, but if he does that, it's the aggro's going to go down, sorry. Oh, he gets the Minutemen and a batch.
But he also trained 5 Gurkhas, so he put the rally point behind the aggro to get the range, but the Minutemen should be real on the front, just absorbing damage and doing, the 26 range damage is nothing to scoff at. And crack shot coming in from the Indian Explorer, for the Aeroquake Explorer, hoping to try and take out most of his Minutemen, but they still have high HP, so he had to pull back his War Chief to preserve his HP and wait come back. And KINGofOsmane, he's tapped GG, he hasn't got much follow-up behind this, the wood's going to help, but stable in base, constantly hasn't got barracks down, and I think Kaiserklein stabilised in Age 3 there.
Yeah, it was certainly looking Iroquois favoured. I actually thought King did a solid amount of damage in Kaiser's base. Like, he got a nice trade that I don't think Kaiser really wanted.
Yeah, it was looking a bit touch and go there for Kaiserklein, especially if KINGofOsmane found out the Travois on the Fortress Age Age-up, because he took down the War Hut, and that meant the only spawn point would have been from the town centre, and each of the Age-ups does provide a Travois on Age-up, essentially, and yeah, if that got picked up, then you wouldn't have the War Hut in base, and you wouldn't have Elite Tomahawks being researched, and you may have not had even more Tomahawks being made, or Forest Prowlers being made, but if this is just the Forest Prowler mass from the shipment, these guys have done a lot of damage, and all of them have got high HP still, so... no, it looks like he's trained another batch of Forest Prowlers in the meantime, because he does have 9 still on the field. But yeah, no, Kaiserklein really solid Age 1 and really solid defense when he aged Age 3 there. Yeah,
no, that was just pretty well played series overall. 4-0, a result I think a lot of people possibly were expecting. And
the game on Florida, there was a really close game.
Yeah, I really like that one, and. I mean, that just goes to show you, though, how scary Kaiser is. In that, I really thought King had that one at that certain point, and then just some standard crazy micro, and the game turns back around again.
Yeah, just looking at some of the graphs in the game, and I don't think there's anything too obvious here to pick up from the graphs. I think there's a decent Vil production from KINGofOsmane. He had a decent amount of eco. Kaiserklein did have a lot of resources coming in before the age up, and that was mainly due to the double crate shipment that he sent. But yeah, the military population, he managed to hold on to once he got to Age 3. So before he got to Age 3, he managed to protect all his infantry units alive at that, and essentially hold off any engagements until his first shipment came. So once he had all that Colonial Age army, and then that first Fortress Age shipment, he then pushed in and deflected the pressure away from his base, and gave it 1 War Hut for that. But after sending the 9 Tomahawks and then eventually the 8 Forest Prowlers, managed to push out and put the pressure back onto the aggro fort. So yeah, that's the story of Game 4 there.